Let's talk about a bunch of prepositions and verbs. Let's start in the alphabetical order. So verbs, as you know, come with very particular prepositions, and most people have difficulty remembering that, but as we have already discussed, that prepositions have a representation. They create a relationship of space and time between verbs and the rest of the things that we are saying in the sentence. That means the object of the sentence. So I don't want to get into too much theory, but it'll be great if you can remember something, and I'll give you a couple of examples alongside. Let's start. This is in alphabetical order. I'm using it from another website. I'll be discussing a lot more verbs after we are done with this. Accuse. Okay, what does accuse mean? Accuse means you are blaming someone of something. Now, accuse is used especially in law. Okay, someone is accused of murder. Okay, so let's say Reena was accused of killing her husband. All right. So the verb is accuse. Now the noun form is accusation. That's the noun form. Accusation against someone. Now you'll have to practice this because this is a preposition too. Accusation against someone. The prosecutor leveled accusations or accusation against Raj. So coming back, accuse someone. So you accuse directly someone, let's say a person, of something. Always accuse someone of something. Now accusation, like we said, the thing, the noun, okay, that itself doesn't mean that the thing is proven. You are just blaming someone. Now merely the fact that you're blaming someone doesn't really make them a criminal. You're only blaming someone. It's not proven. Right? So you're accusing someone. He accused me of stealing a pencil from him. Accused me of stealing a pencil of. Always. The board was accused of leaking the questions by the journalists. It was accused of leaking the questions. The board was, we can also say something like this: the board was accused by the journalists of leaking the points or the news or the questions, anything, doesn't matter. Now what is happening is the board was accused by the journalists. So here they are the ones who accused the board of leaking. So what is happening is that you always get accused of something. Who's accusing you? That thing, that person, that body, that entity can come in between. So the best policy is to remember that you accuse someone of something. Next, add something to something else. Add 5 to 7 and you have 12. Add more milk to my coffee. You need to add more enthusiasm to your team. Need to add more enthusiasm to your team. You need to add more flavor, salt, spices to the dish or the food. Yeah. Now we can use the same word a bit differently, and why it becomes really associated with this. It's directly because we can use it in past tense, or as they say, passive. Now you don't have to worry about if passive is if they are indirectly being talked about, if somebody is indirectly being talked about, then that's passive. We don't want to get into too much of grammar, because frankly speaking, from functional aspect it's not very useful. Yeah, from functional aspect it's not very useful. But regardless, they were accused of immediately, as soon as it's an indirect speech. Okay, it's an indirect speech. It immediately becomes they were accused of wrongdoing. This is indirect. They were accused of wrongdoing in their office or by the supervisor or the prosecutor. Doesn't matter. They were accused of. So we got that covered. The blue was added indirect, so it becomes the third form, added. The blue was added to the green. Admire someone. Admire someone for something. Now look at this. Now we are making it indirect. Okay, he was admired for his acting skills, let's say, in the industry. Admired for, admire, he really admires, let's say, some actor, he really admires, or something, he really admires art. Now here the verb directly goes into the object. You have to think of language in that sense. You have to think of it as a expression of a physical thing. He really admires art. Okay, now we change it a little bit. He really is admired for his art. Now Gina admires John for being kind, or for being a kind person. Earlier it was noun, now it's an adjective. The role of these words, the label we put on them, that constantly changes because the function changes. As soon as we say a kind person, person being a noun is being modified by this word called kind. On the other hand, if we simply say Gina admires John for being kind, this being a thing, for being kind or loving, it becomes a noun. Get it? So again, you don't have to worry too much about grammar, and as we go on, we're just gonna use more sentences and less grammar. Agree on something. Okay, agree on something. I agree on the plan for today. I agree on let's say there's a, so here it's like it's written a topic. I agree on finding a convenient time. I agree on finding a convenient time for our meeting. Now one thing that's not mentioned is agree to someone. Okay, that means follow, right? Follow someone, or basically in a way follow orders. Okay, so agree to someone. I have to agree to my superiors that we should, let's say, cut our budget. Okay, so that means you're kind of surrendering. There is an element of surrender when you say agree to something. Alright. Now agree on a topic. Agree with someone. This is very simple. You agree with something. I agree with Alex that we need to speak out more. I agree with my peers. Peers means colleagues. So agree with someone. So whenever you're trying to say that, you and I, basically by that agree with means person A and person B are of the same opinion or similar opinion. You get it? That's the difference between agree with and agree to someone. You're not necessarily of the same opinion. Not necessarily of the same opinion. Here with opinion I'm using the preposition of an opinion. You're not of the same opinion, you don't have the same opinion as them. In that case you don't use with, you use to. Okay. Apologize to someone. You always apologize to someone. I apologized to my wife because I agree or agreed with the fact that I was rude. Right. Apologize to someone. Please apologize to your teacher. Please apologize if you feel to. Please apologize to, let's say, any person. If you feel to, let's say, Mr. Jacob, that is, if you feel that you were wrong, apply to something. We need to apply more paint to this wall. Now apply can also be used just reflexively. It doesn't matter what that means. You can also use it like this. You need to apply yourself to succeed. That's sort of an assertive statement, and you generally followed with an exclamation mark. You need to apply yourself to succeed. Well, that means you need to work on yourself, literally. But you apply something to something. That means apply force to apply something. Apply force to move the screws. Now if you are, let's say, applying to a place, okay, applying to a place, so I want to apply here, that means give an application. That's what it means. I want to apply to a good university. Alright. So apply to a place for something. Here we go. Apply to. Approve of something. I do not approve of, let's say, bringing your dogs or bringing pets to the workplace. Yeah, maybe. Approve of something. Many people don't approve of well, many people don't approve of many things. Many people don't approve of drinking, premarital relations, premarital here means before marriage. Many people don't approve of bachelors. Many people don't approve of, well, it can be anything. Many people don't approve of, let's say, loitering. Many people don't approve of certain jobs. Who cares? So approve of something. Well, if let's say you go to your office in a t-shirt, your boss says, I don't approve of this t-shirt. Yeah, you need to be much more formal. So approve of something. Alright. Arrive at. Okay, argue with. We left that one. Argue with. You get into an argument with someone. Argument. That means sort of a quarrel. Yeah, an argument. Me and my wife had an argument, so now I have to sleep on the couch. Do not argue. Don't argue with your elders. Why not? You should, I think. Don't argue with, let's say, stupid people. Because there's no point. Don't argue with me. If you are angry at someone, you can always say, don't argue with me. If you know you're right, you can say, don't argue with me. Someone else can say that to you. Alright. You can also say, he got into a terrible argument argument. Now this is a noun, obviously. An argument, it's a thing. He got into a terrible argument, still, even if it's a noun, with his neighbor. Yeah, he got into an argument. He got into an argument with the authorities which resulted in his arrest. Argue with, to be in argument with someone. Okay. Arrive at. Did we arrive at our destination? How long before we arrive? That's a complete question. At our destination or our spot. Yeah. To arrive at. How did you arrive at this conclusion? Right? How did you arrive at this conclusion? You arrive at a conclusion. You always arrive at something. Okay. You arrive in a city or a country. Can you please tell me the directions to the postal office? You know, I just arrived in this town. It's a long sentence. Just arrived. You just arrived in. Have we arrived? In Mumbai, Bombay, same thing. Madras or Chennai, same thing. Who cares? So, have you arrived in Pittsburgh? Ask someone about something or someone. He was asking about you. Who was asking about me? He was. Ask someone. Well, you need to ask the postmaster about the postage duty. Ask someone about something. Ask someone for something. That means you want to get something from them. Ask someone for something. I asked him for a cup of coffee and he gave me tea. So, as you can see, we have covered A so far. It's a big lecture. Try to create different scenarios. We'll do B and then we'll do C and so on. It's a 30-minute video, you better practice. Try to make up sentences of your own. Experiment a little and make sure that you remember which verb comes with which preposition. That's it. Thank you.